Print on demand has taken the world by storm. If you've ever Googled how to get rich quick, you would have undoubtedly seen posts and videos about print on demand, which is this golden money maker, which can allow you to buy this Lamborghini and this huge mansion and live life like a king or queen. And it sounds way too good to be true, right? The fact of the matter is, there is no such thing as a golden money maker. If you want to become successful in life, it requires effort, dedication, consistency, and guess what? It requires luck. Luck is something that no one ever talks about, but the fact of the matter is, if you want to become successful, you need to be lucky. This is why there is such a thing called privilege, because if you're privileged, you're quite lucky, and that allows you to butter up this situation to make money. And the fact of the matter is, for all of us who aren't necessarily privileged as such, guess what? We can work hard to get lucky. Always remember that. You can work hard to get lucky. And I've applied this in my life as a commercial lawyer. I've applied this in the number of businesses that I've had over the years, including a number of successful e-commerce companies. So when I looked at the idea of print on demand, I was thinking to myself, well, now there are some people who are saying a lot of out there saying that you can make a lot of money, but the fact of the matter is I've also made a lot of money off e-commerce. So how about we meet in the middle? I'm gonna do an experiment for you today. I've created my own e-commerce store and I'm gonna figure out whether you can actually make money on print on demand. Now, before we get started, for those of you who haven't heard of print on demand is essentially a form of drop shipping of customized products, and it works really easily. Essentially, there's 4 components. First and foremost, you create a design. Secondly, you determine what product you want to put that design on. So for instance, I've got a polo shirt on right now. If you are like Lacoste, you put a crocodile on the shirt. Sounds really cool. Third thing is that you list that product. You list it on Etsy, you list it on your own Shopify website or any kind of website. You can put it on Facebook, eBay, it doesn't matter. But the fourth part is the part which is really cool, because essentially you're going to be working with print on demand providers like Printful or Printify. And when an order comes in, instead of you having to then design the product and directly attach it to the shirt or otherwise spend $10,000 or $20,000 or $30,000 in purchasing these pre-made products and hoping someone would buy it at a profit, all you have to do is wait for Printify or Printful to take that order, print that design onto your product, and then they will automatically ship it to the end customer. And this is a godsend, because now you don't have to do the physical laborious tasks of e-commerce, and you don't have to spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in upfront capital purchasing these products beforehand and before you could actually sell them. So this is perfect for those who don't have a lot of money but want to start a good business. And whilst it might sound way too good to be true, fact of the matter is you can make some sizable profit, or at least we hope. Now, the first couple of days on this print on demand journey was spent doing research, and more research. Look, the fact of the matter is due diligence is incredibly important for any investment decision that you make. So rightfully, I had to do my due diligence on this concept, on this idea. I need to make sure that I did everything right to the T. And guess what? I used YouTube for that. And I'm gonna say this once, I'm gonna say this twice, and I'm always gonna say this. But YouTube is one of the most quintessentially important and crucial educational tools of mankind. Not just our generation, but mankind. I mean, put it this way. People on the internet who have expertise, who are passionate about what they say, about what they do, are making videos, very useful videos for free for people like you and me to digest and learn from. And I think that is really, really, really important. And I think this is really, really great. So if you're enjoying this video and if you're enjoying the other videos that I make, please like and subscribe. I know it might not mean much to you, but it means a lot to me and other YouTube creators. So thank you for that. Let's continue on. So anyway, my research really was about creating this actionable plan, a list of things that I could do in a chronological way, which would allow me to start up my store and also advertise my store and all the products that I was selling. So the first thing that I did was create an Etsy account. Etsy is essentially a third-party marketplace. It allows you to create this storefront, almost like a farmer's market, a stall in a farmer's market, and allows you to sell various products. And Etsy has traditionally been known to create more handmade products, customized, bespoke products. So this is really the best place for a print-on-demand store. But I would say down the track, you probably want to have your own store and your own website. And I'm kind of foreshadowing what happened to me on this journey. But one of the biggest issues with using third parties and third-party marketplaces is that bots essentially run them. Humans don't run them, which means your store might accidentally get flagged and suspended and shut down. I'm not kidding. Anyway, I'm going to tell you that in a second. But what I had to do was create an Etsy account, and then I created some social media accounts. Those social media accounts included TikTok and Instagram. Essentially, I wanted to showcase my products, not through advertising, but through posts, creating reels and videos. Now, after the research process, then came the design aspect. Now, this was the most funnest part, I have to admit, because the fact of the matter is, I'm a lawyer, I'm a pragmatist, I'm a rationalist. I think with my head, not with my heart. So the idea of design was almost a foreign concept to me, but it was really exciting, and I came up with a number of designs until I came to a big realization, which was I did not have a niche. Like, my designs were so randomized that you couldn't fit them in like one group. You couldn't fit it under one umbrella. And initially this was a big problem, because if you know anything about e-commerce or sales or any kind of business, you have to know what your target demographic is. You need to know who you're targeting in order to sell it to them. And for me, I almost came up with these random ideas and these random designs, and I couldn't really target or pinpoint one particular group. Now, eventually I came to the realization that maybe I don't have to. Maybe I don't necessarily have to target one particular group. Maybe my group is randomized. Maybe that's like the niche. Maybe that's the theme. Random custom bespoke t-shirts. And I don't want to tell you what my designs actually are or what my overarching niche is, because I want there to be a control in this experiment. I want to see whether we can actually make money on this thing or not. But after I came to that realization and I kind of let go of this conservative lawyer aspect within me, I was like, you know what? Let's just go with it. Let's just create these designs. Let's see what sticks. Now, one quick tip about design is that you should be creating designs for others, not yourself. What I'm trying to say is that you might have your own idea of fashion. You might have your own style. Let's be honest, everyone has their own style. Everyone dresses in their own way. But if you're creating products, you really need to be thinking about what other people may like. Because, you know, a lot of the designs that I made, I would never ever wear them at all. But I know that people would. Other people. So start creating designs for others. Don't just create designs for yourself. Now, finally, we come to the first day of selling. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it took me a long time to get from the research stage, from the design stage, to the first day of selling stage, but I wanted to take my time. I also had a ton of other things that I had to do, so I couldn't make this quite palatable and quite swift as I wanted to, but I finally started creating my store and started selling on the 24th of January. And guess what? Guess how much money I made on the first day? $0. A whopping $0. Now, look, let's be honest, like, that's not a bad thing. It's what I expected, it's what you should expect. Because my store, well, it was very bare boned. I only had a couple of designs, there was no reviews, it didn't really look that legitimate. I mean, look at yourself. Would you end up buying from a store that didn't have a lot of designs, was brand new, looked quite disheveled? No, you wouldn't, right? So I wasn't very surprised, but I was very happy that I finally got my store up and running. Now, day 2 of selling was a crazy day. It was a really exceptional day, to be honest with you. I'll always remember this day. Do you know why? Because my store got suspended. Why did my store get suspended? As I would find out 7 days later, for no reason at all. Yes, for no reason at all. And this is something that I alluded to before. One of the biggest risks of using these third-party storefronts such as Etsy and Amazon and eBay is that your whole business, and quite frankly, your livelihood. I mean, if this is your business, this is your livelihood. Everything is dependent on a third-party platform, a third party who says yes or no. And fact of the matter is, these large companies, they're not run by humans. They're run by bots. They're run through AI and machine learning. Now, AI and machine learning, a lot of good things come from that. But one of the negatives is that they're just not human. They can't recognize things which would otherwise be quite plainly obvious to humans, because they're essentially trying to do these magnitudes of tasks in a very swift and efficient manner, which means certain things slip through the cracks. And one thing that you might find out is that if you create a new account on Etsy or eBay or on Facebook or Amazon, is that for some reason and randomly, your store and your account might be flagged and be suspended and deactivated, i.e. shut down, because the bot thinks that there's some kind of anomaly with it, that you might have broken a rule or you might have done this or that, even though, for example, in this case, I did nothing wrong at all. The problem with this is that even though in my case I was finally able to get this rectified, it doesn't always occur. And even if it does, it means that we as sellers, we lose out and we end up being in a very, very vulnerable position, which is why I always say, even though you might start off on Facebook and Amazon, on Etsy, anything like that, you should eventually start moving your customers to your own private website. Anyway, it just so happened that in December of last year, I actually preemptively created another Etsy account because I was actually going to start and conduct this experiment last year, but time got away from me. But anyway, it ended up being the best thing because I was very concerned that Etsy would actually not even get back to me, because trying to contact Etsy in the first place was a huge, huge hassle. Anyway, I decided to move all my listings to that new account and I started selling from there. Anyway, after all this drama, I was finally able to have a storefront where I could start selling, and on the 28th of January, I had 5 visits to my store. 40% of this was through Etsy, i.e. people searching and finding my products, and 60% was through other traffic, i.e. from TikTok. Now, I firmly believe that you should use social media organically and drive engagements organically. So instead of buying ads through Instagram and TikTok, what I actually did was create these random reels, these random videos showcasing my products. And based off the views that I've seen, especially through TikTok, I could see that an X percentage of those views actually clicked my link in bio and ended up visiting my store. So I think this tactic actually worked really well, and you should do the same thing. Now, the next few days, day 4 and 5, the views went down. And to be honest, that was me. What I told you about before about success. It requires effort, dedication, consistency, and luck. And for me, I just didn't have any consistency at all. I didn't really make new designs. I didn't really put anything up. I wasn't really making any videos on TikTok and Instagram, and therefore those views actually went down. So again, another tip, you gotta keep at it. It's like a living creature. You gotta keep feeding it. You gotta keep engaging with your content and with your print-on-demand store. In day 6, guess what? When I jumped back on the horse and I was consistent, I made my first sale. As you can see, on the 31st of January, I made $42.18. You can also see that the person who purchased this product found my store and this product through an Etsy search. So even though my store had no reviews, that person still felt comfortable purchasing my products because the design was pretty cool and my store actually looked pretty legitimate. I had a cover page, I had a logo, and they all had the same design language, and I also had multiple listings. So all in all, they felt pretty comfortable purchasing product, and I was very, very stoked by the result. So after my first official week of selling, I had a total of 9 views, 1 order, and a conversion rate of 11.1%. Some of you might be thinking the results aren't that great. Some of you might be thinking it's pretty good. For me, I think this is just right. Because don't forget, this is a real life experiment. I'm not using fake figures, I'm using real life data to see whether you can realistically make money of print on demand. So if you want to know how much money I made in my first month of print on demand, I want you to first comment down below and tell me your guess, your realistic guess of how much money I made. And then secondly, I want you to press that subscribe button because I'm going to be posting up my results very, 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 very soon. So until then, catch ya.
Bagging that bag again.